Welcome back. It's been a while. Sorry it's been a bit of time. The illness I was suffering from carried on for quite a bit. Still not over it yet completely. It's a lifelong condition, but cope with it best we can. Today is a brew day. Not a big brew, not on the big kit. I'm just going to do a little pilot brew. There's the grains and salts ready, little fermenters ready, and we're just waiting for the water to get to temperature. Shouldn't be too long. There's the mash tun. I pulled all this stuff out of storage. This is my original homebrew kit, so it's getting a bit of an airing, a bit of a run through. What we're making today is a really simple beer. It's going to be a smash beer, so it's extra pale malt and mosaic hops. That's it. So nothing too complicated. Hop routine is 11 grams every 15 minutes in the boil. No whirlpool additions. Just pretty straightforward, just nice and simple. Hopefully make a nice light summer beer. That's it. I'll catch up with you in a bit when things start happening. Bye bye. So just transferring the water 76 degrees into the mash tun, just running it through the pump here, about 16 litres going into there, and then I'll add the grains. Grains in, just check the temperature at 65.5 degrees, aiming for 66. I'll take that, that's fine. So I'm going to close that up now, give it a stir in a little while and leave it for a bit. Sparge water's in. Going to get that heated up to about 77 degrees. Mash tun's on its way. Recirc is ready to go. I'll do that in about half an hour. I'll just give the mash a little time to settle, check the temperature of it, give it a stir. I'll do an iodine check on it in a little while. I'll show you that. I'll also do a pH check on it, see where we're at, hoping for about 5.2, 5.4. Hopefully we'll hit it. Let's see what happens. Yep, all good to go. Everything else is set up. Fermenters pre-cleaned, sanitized, good to go. Yeah, it's good to get a brew finally on again. It's been a while. I've not really felt up to it. But feeling better. Good weather. Absolutely fantastic outside. Don't mind the skip. It's springtime. The usual big clean out. Toys, clothes, all that stuff. But it's good to get it out of the way, get the house nice and tidy and clean. Feels a lot better going into the summer with things sorted. So, back to you in a bit. Just thought I'd show you my very high-tech sparging method. A piece of silver foil with lots of holes poked in it. Clever, isn't it? It works. All I've got to do is keep a level of liquid above it, and it's worked for years, so I won't bother stopping. And besides, I can't really get a rotating sparge arm in there because it's square. See you in a bit. So, just recircing the wort, as you can see. Doing a pretty good job. I'm going to cover this back up and leave it for another 20 minutes or so. See you in a bit. Just done an iodine test and it's not quite there, but it's got another 20 minutes to go, so it should be fine. It's nearly there, so pretty good so far. Just done the refractometer test, came out at 1067. We're aiming for 1053, so by the time I sparged and got it there, I think we'll probably just about hit the numbers. Let's wait and see. Speak to you in a bit. Right. Took my eye off the ball, didn't I? So the sparge water has shot up to 83.6 degrees. So turn the heat off. I'm just gonna give that a little chance to cool down. We should be okay. We've got a little time left in the sparge. So by the time that's cooled down, you can see it's going down already. We should just about be on the mark. We're looking for it to drop to about 76, 77. So a drop of 6 degrees. We should achieve that in about the next 15 minutes or so. Let's wait and see. Back to you in a bit. Right, iodine test. Let's see what happens. Looks good to me. Good to go. Right, as soon as the mash time's up, we'll start sparging. We'll get this thing transferred into the kettle, ready to get it on a boil. Back in a bit. Forgot to say, for those of you that don't know about iodine tests, I'm sure you do. Basically what I've done is I've taken a sample of the wort out of the mash tun, chilled it down a little bit to around about sort of 18-20 degrees, and then put in a drop of iodine, a tincture of iodine solution. And what I'm looking for is for the liquid to stay brown or orange. If it goes dark or black, that means that we haven't converted all the starches into sugars in the mash tun, so it'd need a little bit longer. But as you can see, this one has converted fully, so we will push on and get on to the next stage. So we've got about 7-8 minutes left in the mash, and temperatures dropped from 83 down to 77.7. We're just about there. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to turn the heat on really low, probably about 500 watts, just to keep it ticking over and just keep an eye on it. There we go, 500 watts. One of the great things about these buffaloes, if you're using an induction pot, is the fact that you can dial in the wattage. So I know it's not quite the same as using a PID, but it's not bad. You can, if you learn how to use it, you can actually control your temperatures pretty well. So we'll just keep an eye on that, and we'll see where we end up in about 5 or 6 minutes time. But I reckon we'll be just about ready to go. Just thought I'd give you a look at the wort. It's running really nice and clear now. Fantastic colour. I'll show you in the bottom of the mash tun what I've done in the bottom of this mash tun when I empty it. But it works a treat. I've got a double filter system in there, which virtually guarantees no stuck mashes. I say virtually, I've had one, but it's a pretty good system. Did it years ago. You'll see anyway. I'll show you later, but you'll see what I did to this to make it work so well. The downside to it is you do get a bit of dead space in the bottom, but you can allow for that in your water measurements. Back in a bit. Forgot to say about the pH test, didn't I? So as you can see, we are around about 5.5, maybe a tad up on 5.5. I was looking for about 5.4. It'll be okay. We'll see where we'll go with that. I think it'll be fine. We're in the range. Yes, I still do use pH strips as well as using devices. Nothing wrong with it. It worked perfectly fine. Okay, it's not as accurate as a device, but a creature of habit. I've used them for years. I still like using them. Quick, easy. And they just work for me. Bye-bye. So, we're sparging. So, we're going out of here, through the pump, onto the top of the grain bed. A little bit too much water on there at the moment, so I'm just going to throttle it back a little bit. And then we're dropping down into this bucket here. Going well so far. See you in a bit. So I'll give you a quick look at the colour and clarity of the work coming out of the mash tun. Pretty good. Crystal clear. I don't know if you can pick that up from there. Absolutely no bits in it whatsoever. So the filter bed, the grain filter bed has done its job really well. Pleased with that. I think we're going to get a fantastic beer out of this. Not long to go on the sparge now, it's just come to the end. Then we'll get it all transferred into the kettle. The reason I'm not going straight into the kettle at the moment is because the kettle was providing the sparge water. So we're actually dropping into this container here, and then we'll move it into there, because there's still a little bit of water in there that I need to get rid of before I put it in. So back in a bit. So I don't know if you remember a few minutes ago when I did the gravity reading during the mash, we were at 1067, although I hadn't sparged out yet. So I've just done a final reading, OG reading, at the end of the sparge. We were looking for a target of 1053, and we hit it on the money, bang on 1053. And you can see there in the pipette, the colour of the beer. It's exactly what I was aiming for. Nice golden colour. I think this is going to be a cracking beer. Back in a bit. So I don't know if you remember at the start of this video, this brew day, I told you about the filtration I have in the mash tun. Well, here's the first part of it. So in the bottom of the mash tun you can see there's a perforated steel plate with a bit of silicone tube around the edge just to seal the edges a little bit. And that stands just above the level of the outlet spout. So if I just lift this up, spoon to do that, you'll see what's underneath it. So underneath that we also have a bazooka filter, so whatever gets through that has to make its way through that, and nothing does. You get pretty much no residue coming through into the kettle whatsoever. So that's basically how it works. That's the start. So just coming up to hot break. Any time now. So I'm going to need both hands for this. So I'm just going to stop you here and we'll come back in a minute. So hot break just happened. Nice little rolling bowl going on. First hop schedule going in. So this is 11 grams of mosaic at 60 minutes. In it goes. Let that work away. Back in a bit. Just given the chiller coil a bit of a hose down. It's not been used for a while, so it's a bit dusty, so that's had a bit of a spray off in the under sink. I'll just let that drip dry for a bit. We've probably got about, let's see, half an hour left on the boil, maybe 40 minutes. I'll have to check. Yeah, 40 minutes. So we'll be back in a bit. Bye. End of boil. We are just doing a hop stand for about 15-20 minutes. Last charge of hops have gone in. I'm not going to whirlpool it, I'm just going to let it sit there. There's not really much point in whirlpooling this one because I don't think there's going to be very much in the way of trubbing this. There might be a bit of protein off the beer, but there certainly won't be any hops because they're in tea bags. So they'll be fairly easy enough to whip out when the time's ready. The fermenter's ready down here, and if there is anything coming out of the kettle, the trusty hop spider uses a filter into the fermenter. It will do the job and catch everything that comes through. Nearly there. So I don't know if you can see that, but we're chilling the beer down now. Going to get this down to around about 30 degrees. I'm going to take a sample out and do a little bit of a yeast starter, and then drop the rest down to as close to 20, 21, if maybe a touch less. It all depends on the groundwater here. I'll see where we end up. I may have to let it chill in the fermenter for a little bit longer and pitch the yeast later, but we'll see how it goes. It might be okay. So getting close to the end now. I reckon we're going to hit 21 degrees. Ground temperature doesn't seem too bad. Got a yeast starter going. What I've done is I've taken out a little bit of the wort out the kettle, around about 30 degrees, 31 degrees. Just pitch the yeast in there. I'm just going to let it sit there for about 15 minutes. The yeast we're using today is American West Coast Ale yeast, BRY97. I haven't used this one before, so it'll be interesting to see what happens and how this turns out. Hopefully it's going to be good. Let's wait and see. Nearly there. Just done a OG check. Bang on 1053. Exactly what I was looking for. The only thing remains to be seen is whether I've hit the yield coming out of the kettle into the fermenter. Looking for around about 23 litres. Hopefully we've got there. The yeast starter has already started going mad, as you can see, working its stuff. Hopefully this is going to turn out to be a good yeast. Let's wait and see, but it's off to a cracking start. So we're at temp 22 degrees. I'm going to drop it into the fermenter at that because it'll chill down during the process. And we're going to drop down into the hop filter here. So here we go. Open up the tap and let that come through and see where we end up in terms of quantity. Great looking colour. Going in the fermenter nicely. The hop filter will do its job of straining any protein or stuff that makes its way through. It'll also help oxygenate the wort as it goes in. All looking good. Final last check. Just make sure the tap's turned off. How many times have I done this before and left the tap open? Not today. Caught it. Good job. Looking good so far. Lovely colour, running nice and clear. I think this is going to be a good brew. A lot of activity already happening in the yeast starter. I'll try and get you in for a close-up. Working its magic. I don't know if you can see that moving around. That's going to get off to a cracking start. Wait and see. So like I said, aiming for 23 litres. Let's see where we end up. So, hit all the numbers all day long, and the only number I haven't hit is the final quantity in the fermenter. I was aiming for 23, I've got 20. That's fine. The OG's fine. Everything should be okay. I'll just have to check my recipe, make sure I wasn't aiming for 19, in which case even better. But I can't quite remember. I'll have to have a look. But in any case, been a good brew day. I'm now going to get the yeast pitched into this. Give it a... Oh, that's already doing its stuff. So that is going to go into there. Going to get this thing sealed up, and we're off and running.